I agree, but incidentally, say Mr. A has declared this under Prime Minister Garib Rozgar, this month. Now, having done that, probably whatever Mr. A was to do, he has done. So there is an official source available with him. So at the time of giving of payment provided is not there, but there was an official source now, it has been legalized. So that should be accepted. That is my submission number. That is ground number 2. Ground number 3 is in the connection of 1.50 crore additional term of 56 to 7. And the issue in brief is something like this, Your Honor. Under 56 to 7, the learned assessing officer is trying to tax me for a right which I am holding in land and building. Now, it says that incidentally 56 to B doesn't, it just refers immovable property, but it doesn't refer or it doesn't give the meaning of word immovable property. Or it is not clarified in the section. Now, the issue arises that in that case, what actually I have taken in possession, and I must point out here at this stage also, that this particular building or land, this particular building is not a company. There is a lot of, and still it is in the form of right. So my first humble submission is that provisions of section 56 to 7 do not apply in this case. The reason, section 56 to 7, if you see the placement and the reason why it is there on the statute. So one really see 56 to 7 as a replica of 50C provision. That is 50C provision we had, where a specifically immovable property is notified land and building.
50C and 56 here we are on 56 to 7, wherein the flat was booked in 2013. The registration was done in 2016. And the assessment is 1780.
I am pointing out a specific aspect, Your Honor. I am referring the provisions of 56 to 7 are not applicable to me because what I have bought is a right in building. It is not immovable property. And to support that, I am taking a benefit of 50C because it's a replica of 50C, that is what I am saying. Why replica of 50C? Because 50C catches a transaction of a seller and 56 to 7 catches a transaction of a buyer. However, 50C defines the term immovable property as land and building or part of, but it excludes the rights there. It is not specifically included. Similarly, although 56 to 7 has not defined immovable property, but you have to take a contextual meaning out of it, and therefore this right is not included, and that is my humble submission. So in that provision do not apply in my case. That is one. And my alternative submission. My alternative submission is that if at all Your Honours is not convinced me of the first argument, without respect to that, I must point out, I have entered into section 56 to 7 also gives me another aspect which needs to be appreciated. That is, if at all I have entered into earlier date an agreement wherein I made a payment by check, so the value on that date, accessible value on that date should be considered.
Provision should of 50C should apply here.
So in that case, the facts are that the date, on the date of agreement, the value, on the date of that entering into that allotment there, it was 1.75 crore. So the difference at the most in the is 0.75 and not entire 1.50. That is my humble submission. And next round is regarding 0.75 crore being added as a 2016 model Mercedes car, which has been gifted to me to the appellant by his friend. And assessing officer consider this as a non-genuine transaction. Now, I don't find anything non-genuine in it. I have got a wealthy friend, so
just briefly, very briefly, points of arguments. The points of arguments.
Point of argument, Your Honor, that if I receive such car, the law has not made any particular, even because assessing officer is making the addition for section 69. Now, section 69 requires that if it is not recorded in the books of account. Here is the case, you can refer the fact that capital account filed by the assessing officer upon receipt of the notice under 143, it mentions this receipt.
It is recorded in the books of accounts of section 69 only. You mean to say applies only in case it is not recorded?
I'll point out that.
And if you use the word and, if you see.
It says unexplained investment. The section title is unexplained investment. And it says where to financially or immediately preceding the assessment year, the assessee has made investment which are not recorded in the books of accounts, if any. My case is that I have recorded.
Takes care of the second. Not recorded in the books of account. If any,
So my case is that
maintained by him. If any, maintained by him for any source of income.
and assessee offers no explanation. And it says assessee offers no explanation. Whereas my submission is that I have recorded the books of account, it is appearing in my capital account, and I am offering explanation.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes, sir. And offering my explanation for that, and therefore the transaction gets explained. Provisions of section 69 do not apply to me, and therefore no addition should be stayed clear. The next round is deposit of this 25 lakhs in the amount of credits in the bank account. Now, Your Honor, for assessment year for financial year 16-17, I had some undisclosed income. Like I was taking certain classes for MBA. My affiliate is taking certain classes for MBA students, and he's been getting some amount in cash. And that amount he has deposited. Now he has deposited amount. He has even paid the necessary taxes as an advance tax. There is no issue on that. And I am giving the explanation also that this particular amount is deposited by me, and I have shown you the miscellaneous income. When I did that act, and I am explaining that I have received it from the tuitions which I have conducted or special classes which I have taken. So onus gets discharged from my side, and therefore no further addition is warranted under this head also. Then the subsequent addition is that in the context of 50 lakhs which I have disclosed under Pradhan Mantri Garib Yojana for 2011 cash deposit into bank. Your Honors, the question could be that whether this is permitted. I strictly rely on the basic scheme of that Pradhan Mantri Garib Yojana, which doesn't specify this restriction. However, subsequently FAQ, if I'm not wrong, question number 4 deals with this, and it says that FAQ says that yes, you can deposit for earlier years also. So I'm covered by that FAQ, and beneficial restriction should be given to me, and I should get the benefit of it. And the last one is in the context of 75 lakhs has been added in the difference in the value of shares as colonial company computed under 11 UA and the issue price. And the issue, Your Honor, in simple, is that there was an issue price finalized by company, and it was that option of right was given to all the shareholders. Out of that shareholder, I was the one who was having liquidity, and I have subscribed for it. Once I subscribed for it, the other shareholder has not really done that part. But that is not in my hand, because I cannot force him to bring the money. There was an open offer by the company. So I have subscribed for it. And therefore, there is nothing further which can really come out of it. And therefore, I say that the provisions are not applicable, and I follow with that. So with this, Your Honor, I pray before this honorable bench to restore the income what I declared in the return of income and delete the entire additions to the
Yeah. Should we take it in our chamber? Or we'll try to wrap it fast.
Your Honor, at the outset, assessment proceedings, very briefly, Your Honor, assessment proceedings are quasi-judicial proceedings. These are fought on the basis of the background of the facts of each particular case and the application of law in the background of that particular case. So, my learned friends pointed out some story about demonetization as people should not be viewed from that viewpoint. In my humble submission, even department should not be viewed as a dictator in that view. So, it should be purely an application of law based on the facts of the case. Your Honor, the first ground in which there are 3 parts of the addition, 5 crore rupees cash has been deposited. The first part is 1 crore rupees which has revised the return of income. Your Honor, section 139(5), it says that if the assessee discovers any omission or wrong statement in the return, then he can file a return of income. But learned friend in the argument, he himself has conceded that there was a cash sales received in the last year which is not disclosed. So, Your Honor, a distinction has to be made between discovery of an omission and a concealment of income. Something which I am aware of, I am hiding from the department, 139(5) is not a VDI scheme. That subsequently, if I say that there are some other consequences, then I submit a revised return and disclose that amount in there. 139(5) is only a facility given to those taxpayers which are genuinely discovering. What discovery means, he should not be aware of
Is any omission or any wrong statement.
But discovery is common, Your Honor. It might be a wrong statement. This is not a case of wrong statement because he has not disclosed the cash sales. So it is a case of omission, so discovery. And therefore, Your Honor, I rely on 201 ITR 988 Guwahati High Court. It is clearly on this point that if a fact which the assessee was aware of, but then he does not submit in the original return of income, he cannot submit in a revised return.
What is the citation for that?
201 ITR 988 Sunanda Ram Deka, Guwahati High Court. So, Your Honor, the revised return is non-est. It should be considered as this 1 crore was not at all disclosed to the department, and therefore the addition is justified in this way. Then, Your Honor, the second and the third proposition, the 3.5 crore cash sales and the 50 lakhs cash which was alleged to have been already there in the books of account. Your Honor, on both this, I will say a simple is this is beyond human probabilities. Anybody who is having a cash sales a jump of 100 times, I appreciate that during that period of 50 days, there have been some cases of inflation of price to some extent. There have been newspaper report that gold of 30,000 was inflated up to 45,000, 50,000. But Your Honor,
Has
100%.
opportunity and he has taken the benefit of that opportunity.
Your Honor, but that is not purely acceptable because 100 times it is beyond human probabilities, Your Honor, that sales will shoot up by 100%, profit margin will shoot up by 100%. This clearly made up story, and therefore this addition, Your Honor, needs to be sustained. I rely on 214 ITR. The assessment proceedings are not criminal proceedings; these are civil proceedings. Therefore, assessment can be based on human probabilities.
So you have nothing to say about his receiving illegal tender.
I am coming to it, Your Honor. Also it. And as he has pointed out that illegal tender, and he says that it had a value in the bank. But then, Your Honor, that strengthens the case that it is not possible. If it has a value, the amount which he has received, it has got a value. By depositing in the bank, it has got a value, and therefore it's an amount which he has received. Now, what we have to see is what is the source of this receipt. Merely because subsequently there have been amendment in section 115 BB and the rate of tax increase, and therefore to take benefit of that of not an inflated rate, is offering it as a normal income and showing a 30%. Is doing business since year 2012, Your Honor. From the inception till date, whatever is the sales, 100 times sales of that, so that is purely not acceptable, Your Honor. Same thing, Your Honor, for the last part of that 50 lakh rupees, it is purely not acceptable if a person is having a cash balance in his books of account and then he is going to the bank every day for withdrawing 25,000 rupees.
You are right on probability.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. So in all probability, what could have been is, though obviously we do not have an evidence, in my all fairness I concede it, but this 50 lakh rupees which he has already spent, and therefore on that date of deposit, it is not the same 50 lakh rupees which is there in the books of account. Then, Your Honor, the second ground about that amount deposited by some Mr. A in the Pradhan Mantri Yojana. He says that once it has been deposited in the name of that person, the burden gets discharged.
Before that, you don't have anything to say on that transfer 56 to 7. 3, 4.
Which one, Your Honor?
The right in the property which he discussed.
Now, before that, I have point, ground number 2. That is ground number 3, Your Honor.
Okay.
So, I am on ground number 2. That loan which he has received from Mr. A of rupees 50 lakh rupees and he has deposited in Pradhan Mantri Yojana. Your Honor, if Your Honors are aware, in the year 2016, after demonetization, the Benami Transaction Prohibition Act, which was there from 1988, which was amended and re-notified when certain rules were also notified. Now, as per the Benami Transaction Prohibition Act, if any amount is proved to be Benami, the entire amount is liable for confiscation as well as there are prosecution proceedings pending. And therefore, just to take shelter of that, the person depositing it in the name of somebody else and showing that the creditworthiness of that person is proved. This person is a man of no means, Your Honor. From all the factual position you can see.
Yeah, but then Benami transactions, the person who was stored in Benami transactions, was he allowed to make an application or declaration under the Pradhan Mantri Kalyan Yojana scheme?
No, Your Honor.
He wasn't.
No, Your Honor.
Whereas this person has done.
No, yes, Your Honor.
Accepted.
And
Pardon?
accepted.
Yes, Your Honor.
And accepted, right?
Yes, Your Honor. Then Your Honor, the next ground about 56 to 7. Now my learned friend has pointed out that immovable property is not there in 56 to 7. My humble contention, Your Honor, is twofold. First of all, 56 to 7 explanation refers to property. As per General Clauses Act, whenever a reference is made to the whole, it includes a reference to the part, and therefore part of the property is also covered in the definition of property. Now, because the property was under construction, Your Honor, in the context of Wealth Tax Act, Punjab and Haryana High Court in the case of Leena Jain has held that under construction building is also a building. So even though this is an under construction building, because the registration,
Right? For wealth tax. That's for the wealth tax.
is on a legal provision, because there also the wording in section 2E subclause 5 is building. And High Court has accepted that a part of the building is also a building.
What is the citation for that?
Your Honor, I will file in the course of the day. I don't have the citation. I will file in the course of the day. It is Leena Jain, Punjab and Haryana High Court. So Your Honor, because the part of the property is also included, and at certain places in the Income Tax Act also, if it can take a reference, because immovable property has not been defined for 56 to 7, we can have a reference to section 269 UAFD, where it refers to the part of the property. Then because the registration has taken place in the financial year 16-17, and therefore this part of the property is received in this year, and therefore addition is rightly been made in this year. There are about the fourth ground about the Mercedes car allegedly having received from his friend. Only 2 points to say. My learned friend has said capital account has been filed. Madras High Court, Your Honor, has held that capital account or balance sheet is not books of account. As he has pointed out that section 69, whatever is disclosed in the books of account 69 is not applicable. So the final financial statement, that is capital account and balance sheet, these are not books of account. Secondly, Your Honor, the source.
The income was offered, right, under section 56? Because it is his friend who has given. So we understand the income was offered.
No, Your Honor, income was not offered. Assessing officer is taxed under section 69.
He has made an addition under section 69.
Yes, Your Honor.
But the SSC had offered the same as income under section 56 because the Mercedes car is received from a friend.
No, Your Honor, because under section 56 does not apply to car. There is not any addition.
Okay.
Definition of property doesn't cover car. So it is the source of investment, the later part of section 69, and question about the source of investment, he comes out with a story that it is received from his friend. So if the gift is not accepted, if the credential of that gift is not accepted, then the source goes unexplained, and therefore 69 is rightly included. Then Your Honor, the next edition about 25 crores with the associate showing as miscellaneous income, but the explanation given that he grooms MBA student on how to prepare their project assignment, etc., it's purely a fishy explanation, not supported by any evidence. And therefore,
Why not supported? He is saying that he has already declared that.
yes, but these receipts are toward, but he could not furnish the
Training
details to the
MBA
students or projects.
students.
He has not given any details about who are the students. So section 68, what Your Honor says is, any sum found credited in the books.
Source is not available.
Yes, Your Honor. This is the later part of section 68 because so not there. Section 68 is clearly attracted. The next, Your Honor, about the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. Now he has declared amount deposited in the year 2011. Out of that, some gold is in purchased by 18 kilogram of gold and has declared an amount of only rupees 50 lakh cash deposit in the year 2011. Now, Your Honor, I have only 2 propositions. First of all, the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana that says that only deposit in the bank account can be disclosed. Now, the deposit in the bank account, Your Honor, naturally has to be interpreted as the deposit which are available with the assessee as on the date on which the scheme was introduced. If a person has earned some amount, say 5 years back he has deposited that amount in the bank account, thereafter he withdrew that amount, either spent that amount or he has purchased or made some investment out of that amount, then as on the date on which the scheme was introduced, that person is not holding that amount, that cannot be disclosed under this. That is one provision. Second provision, Your Honor, if this argument of my learned friend is accepted, this will lead to a very absurd situation or a violation of Article 14 of the Constitution. Because just before this Pradhan Mantri Kalyan Yojana, government has introduced another scheme of income disclosure scheme 2016. Under that scheme, Your Honor, what was required to be disclosed is assessee was required to pay 45% tax on the value of the asset as on 1st of June 2016.
We understand.
So if such an interpretation is accepted, it will lead to an.
But then he has referred to the FAQ question number 4, which says that in the case the assessee wants, he can declare the income. Even the scheme says that any income declared prior to 1/4/2017 can be declared under any income which is undisclosed can be declared under this scheme. And FAQ also says that.
Your Honor, question 3 of the FAQ, it says undisclosed income in the form of jewellery, bullion, diamond, other valuable articles can be declared after selling them and converting them into cash or getting their sale price credited to bank account. So this is a case of, Your Honor, otherwise 2011 valuation that cash has been disclosed, that cannot be considered as an explanation for 18 kilogram of gold.
Okay.
Then, Your Honor, the last ground about shares. Your Honor, that matter is purely covered by Mumbai Tribunal in the case of Sudhir Menon HF, where the Honorable Tribunal has taken a view that in case of disproportionate rights holding, 5627 is clearly applicable. Sudhir Menon HF.
Bombay.
Mumbai Tribunal, yes, Your Honor. So in this case, because the rights issue.
There the issue was not related to the right of disproportionate shares right.
Your Honor, in the facts of that case,
Was different.
it was a proportionate right, and therefore in that case the addition was deleted. But Tribunal has given a finding of law that if in case of disproportionate holding, then 5627 is clearly applicable. And Your Honor, even for that question 4 of FAQ of the preceding ground, that also is not permitting undisclosed income in the form of jewellery, bullion, diamond, other valuables, investment in capital account cannot be declared. So even question 4 of the FAQ is very specific. Obliged.
All right, sir.
Your Honor, I hold my right to rejoinder of this case and I need to talk about that, but considering the paucity of time, I may request this honorable bench to consider this a part of matter and get
With your written note,
Sorry,
with your written note, you consider with the judge.
I shall do that. Obliged.
Before we conclude, let us say on behalf of my brother also that we in fact would have given more time to each of the counsel to decide. In fact, we were quite impressed by the argument that to decide. Given us a choice, we would have definitely allowed everybody to argue at length. We also enjoyed listening to the arguments, but as a time constraint, we have to curtail everybody to be respectful.
Thank you, members. Friends, we break for quick lunch and reassemble.